Hey, what's up, NBA fans? What's up, all sports fans? This is JB right here, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shad, Kelvin, and Jermaine. And for everyone who is tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this podcast the best that it can be. Now, check it out, y'all. Check it out. Joel Embiid, the 22-23 NBA season MVP. He's the reigning MVP going into next season, man. And I feel that Embiid is at a definite career crossroads. And it behooves me because I know that he played for the city of brotherly love and the Philadelphia 76ers. I really loved that team back in the day, man. You know, I'm talking about during the Dr. J years. You know, Mo Cheeks, Bobby Jones, Andrew Toney, Caldwell Jones, Daryl Dawkins. See what I'm saying? And Clement Johnson and Clint Richardson, Mark Ivoroni. And then, of course, Moses Malone. To me, one of the top 15 greatest players of all time. One of the greatest centers ever to play this game. And he helped lead the 76ers to their last championship they've ever won in the NBA back in 1983. That was a historic run. And Joel Embiid is the latest of many great centers they have had play for that franchise. Will Chamberlain, Moses Malone, and now Joel Embiid. And he's at a crossroads because, you know, he entered the league, I believe, back in 2014. And I know he was dealing with, a lot of injuries that kept him from playing. And he really didn't start playing until his third season in the league, to my recollection. And he's been a hell of a player, man. And I was glad to see him win league MVP. You know, the way I saw it, it was either going to be between he, Nikola Jokic, or Giannis. And, I'd have been cool with either player winning the MVP this year. But he's at a crossroads. And, when this whole deal started with he and Ben Simmons and the like, and then other draftees down the line, Markelle Fultz, the selling point was this is the process. Be patient. We're undergoing the process, but at the end of the day, man, it's about wins and losses. And where does Joel Embiid go from here? Because they had the perfect opportunity for the first time in his career to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. They was up 3-2 versus the Boston Celtics. Game 6 at home, everything was right there on the silver platter. All they had to do was close it out. All they had to do was close it out. And then they lost. They started the game about as worse as you can. And Boston wasn't even playing with, per se. Well, I'll put it this way. Jason Tatum wasn't playing well until that fourth quarter. And then when he opened up the can in the fourth quarter, Philly had no answer. And then you pretty much knew what was going to happen come game 7. And then Tatum erupted for like 50 points. But I believe Embiid, and I know he's had inopportune injuries and whatnot, but I believe he has been a victim of a lot of bad fortune, a lot of bad luck. And namely, Ben Simmons, man. Back in the 2020-21 season, Philly had a number 1 seed. I believe that was Doc Rivers' first year. He was brought on to coach the Sixers after being let go by the Clippers. And it was the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And you know, when you see a player like Embiid, man, you know, being one of the best players in the league, at least during the regular season, you know, eventually you want to see a player, you know, break through and get to a finals, even if that's not your favorite player or your squad. And I know he was hurt with that knee injury. He had a real bad knee injury. And all Ben Simmons needed to do was just play solid. He didn't need to play great. And he couldn't hit a free throw. He was, you know, hesitant to shoot a jumper, man. And from that point on, to me, when Philly lost that series, that playoff to Atlanta, when Atlanta won 3 games in Philly, including that game 7, you just kind of knew right there, man, that it may not happen. It may not happen for Philly, man. It may not happen for Embiid doing, you know, his they say his tenure with the 76ers. And I believe Ben Simmons let the team down in a big way, because he got upset with Doc Rivers was saying, you know, criticizing that he didn't come to play. But hey, a coach is going to, if he see that you're not holding up your end of the bargain, you're not stepping up to the plate, well, a coach is not going to sit there and not say anything. And if Ben Simmons would have just played solid, you know, early in Ben Simmons' career, man, he was showing signs he was going to be a great player. He was being called the next LeBron James or the next Magic Johnson. I think it was more like Magic Johnson, to tell you the truth. He was tall, he was 6'10", and he could rebound at a high clip. And if he would have just kept on building on this game, man, Philly probably would have advanced to a finals by now. So it begs the question, you know, what direction does Embiid have to take now to pursue a championship run? Because it may not happen in Philly. You know, by Ben Simmons, for whatever reason, he decided he didn't want to play no more, or like he checked out for like about 2 years. Well, it led to a situation where they pursued James Harden, which to me, that was not an upgrade, because history has shown James Harden does not perform at the same level during the regular season, during the playoffs, that he does during the regular season. And now, does James Harden want to stay? Does he want to go? You know, he's been asking for trades every year. And when you bring a player like that so short-sighted, you know, your team, man, it just throws everything off whack, you know. And it's not fair to a team. You get traded, you played for one season, well, a season and a half per se, and then you ready to leave. Nah, man, it don't work like that. See, that superstars didn't operate like that back in the day. You know, like a Charles Barkley, you know, he played 8 seasons for the 76ers. And they was at a point where they wasn't even a 500 team. So a player like Charles Barkley, entering the prime of his career, he had a right to ask to be traded. There was no issue. Fans didn't have there was no backlash. The Philly fans, they continued to embrace Charles Barkley throughout the remainder of his career. They understood the situation, but Embiid, you know, what is he going to do? You know, I don't see them going anywhere. They gave up a lot to get James Harden. Draft picks, you know, very high-level role players like Seth Curry or whatnot. And now it's kind of like they're stuck in neutral, where at best they're a second-round team. So next year, it could be the same song again, where they really don't do anything. So it could come a point where he in his prime, you know, he coming up on 30 years old, reigning MVP, he may ask to be traded. You know, I can see that happening after next year. I can see that being the case. So, you know, I guess we'll find out in the near future. It remains to be seen, but that very well could be the outcome of all of this. You know, he's been there coming up on 10 years now. So he may ask to go elsewhere. So I just want to drop there real quick, man, get my take on the situation with Joel Embiid. This is JB right here. Until next time, BTB, behind the bench.